Welcome back. Now we're in lesson 3 of module 7. So if you remember in lesson 2, you were solving systems by graphing. In lesson 3 here, we're going to be solving systems by substitution. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can solve systems of equations by substitution. So let's look at the Spark Your Learning. A state fair offers 2 pricing plans. Each includes a flat fee for admission and a price per ride. The equations in the table show the cost y in dollars to attend the fair and go on X number of rides. For how many rides do the 2 pricing plans cost the same? Solve this problem without graphing and explain your reasoning. So give that a go here, and here are the equations. And remember, they don't want you to graph, so they say maybe use a table or whatever might help you, but try to do it without graphing this time. And then look at the turn and talk and work on that. How can you check that you correctly found a solution to a system of linear equations? So pause the video, work on that, and then we'll go to the build understanding. So now let's look at the build understanding. Number 1, solve the system. So here's a system of equations. Again, you know these are linear because they're in that y equals mx plus b format, the slope-intercept form of a line. A says graph a system to estimate a solution. So now they do want you to graph those 2 lines, that system of equations there. Then in B, they say since y equals negative 2x minus 4 and y equals 2x plus 8, what do you know about negative 2x minus 4 and 2x plus 8 at the intersection point of the 2 lines? So they're asking you from your graph here where they intersected, what do you know about those 2 lines at that intersection point? And then C, they want you to solve this equation. And if you look at this here, negative 2x minus 4 and 2x plus 8, both of those here in your system equal y. So if this equals y and this equals y, what they've done, if you notice, they just set those 2 equal to each other because you know that y equals y. So here you're solving for x. And then what does the solution to this part C represent? And then E, how can you find the value of the other variable? So here you solved for x. The other variable is y. How do you find that other variable now that you know the value of x? And once you find it, what is that value? F, what does that y value tell you? And then G, check your solution by substituting x and y back into both of these original equations. Once you solve these problems, actually all those, you'll know x and y. You can put those values into each of those equations, and they want you to do that here, show your work, and then what is the solution to the system of equations. So work on that, pause here, work on those, and then we'll go to the next page. So once you've finished the build understanding, now here we are in the step it out. Number 2 says solve this system using substitution. So if you look at these equations, these are not in the y equals mx plus b format. So you're going to be doing something a little bit differently here. So this says connect to vocabulary. To substitute is to replace a variable with a number or another expression in an algebraic expression. So here they're asking in A, how can you use x equals 2y plus 7 to substitute for x in the second equation? So if you look at this, this tells you something that x equals. It doesn't give you just a number value, but it tells you x equals 2y plus 7. So if you're going to substitute this for x, what would that look like if you do that in this equation here? So they kind of help you go step by step. Since the equation is solved for x, you can substitute something for x in the second equation. So then B, complete the following solution. And so they help you by going step by step there. And then go on to number 3. For admission to a concert at the state fair, child tickets cost X dollars and adult tickets cost Y dollars. Solve the system. Here's the system here. And again, these equations look a little bit different. They're not in the y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form. They say solve the system to show the price of each type of ticket. So you're going to go back up and use substitution, and they're going to help you go step by step. Solve the system by first solving for x in the first equation, then substitute the resulting expression in the second equation to solve for one of the variables. So they're helping you just step by step. Since x plus y equals 10, x equals, so you'll figure out what is x equal by subtracting y from both sides and so on. And then substitute that into the other equation using those steps. B, since y equals blank, x equals 10 minus blank, and x equals blank, the cost of each child ticket is. So you're just going to be using what you did here to fill in the blanks here. And then you can do this turn and talk if you'd like. Part B, what would change if you substituted y equals 6 into 4x plus 8y equals 64 instead? What would remain the same? So pause there and work on that, then we can go to number 4. So if we look at number 4, they're saying solve this system of equations. So again, these are different types of equations than the slope-intercept form that you're used to, but they're going to help you go step by step. They're saying solve for one of the variables in one of the equations, and they help you do that going step by step. B, make a substitution in the other equation and then solve for the variable that remains after the substitution. And again, they're going to help you kind of walk through it. C, they're giving you some more practice, solve for x. So you're going to keep going with that, and then here you'll end up with your final solution there at the end. Once you finish number 4, you can go on and do the check understanding. Once you have done the check understanding and you feel confident, you can go ahead and work on this on your own. Once you complete the on your own, if you feel like you need more practice or a little more review, go ahead and do some or all of these problems here in the more practice homework. If you feel like you're good to go, then do the test prep and spiral review. So that's all for lesson 3. We will see you in lesson 4.